I was about to say, I swear, if we were live, someone would tell me we are live.
Fucking no, for sure. Hello, ladies and gents. We got a brand new executive producer on tonight. Her name's Sophie. She's got her training wheels on. What did I just say before, Dan? Kent Herman would be having a fucking hernia going, it's like 6 seconds past the half an hour. Where are these people? So,
Mate,
no doubt, the great man will be joining us soon.
Mate, I think we were a solid 30 seconds late kicking off tonight. There you go. Sophie's already apologised. Huey Allen's like, mate, I reckon Huey had his comment already written. Like, he's like, I've already like copied it somewhere else, and he's like, paste. I've got in. I'm in first. I'm at the top of the leaderboard today.
That's because, may I say, Huey, good to see you, brother. And like, how did it feel? Let everyone know, because you're one of the very few people, because we've got clients all around the country. You're one of the very few people that's had the opportunity to come down to Axon HQ and observe the view, observe the hospitality, say good day to everyone. So, mate, I'd love to know how you and the wonderful Miss Kelly are feeling after coming down and seeing us. So I'm joined here tonight by Dan. I've got Dana, my lovely wife, / the general manager / all-round ass kicker of Axon. Her name's Tamara. She runs my life. She runs our life. She runs the business. So we're here to answer all your questions about ADF housing entitlements, what's going on in the property market, what's going on in the finance sector. If you need some relationship advice, don't ask the question you don't want to know the answer to, because we'll tell you the fucking truth. Yes, we swear every now and then. So if you've got us on and the kids are nearby, tell them to go away.
Put headphones in.
Et cetera, et cetera. Well done, Sonny. You were here on time. No worries. Chrissy Williams is with us. Beck Hinton's with us. Now, does Beck know that little piece is being done, Tammy, in the background? No. Okay. That's all good.
Shit secret keeper.
Oh, yes, she would know. Yeah.
Oh,
good.
I don't know it. Whatever.
Good. So, Beck, thank you for contributing to that. I know what I'm fucking talking about. Thank you, which is good. I had a bit of a read of that today. Sammy Wynn's in the house. Now, Sammy, if you can put a few little sentences in the chat box, because this is your last ever live Q&A before you move into your brand new house. Before you move into your brand new house that you had no idea was going to even happen in your life fucking one day, certainly not with Axon's assistance and the whole process that we provided you. So I'd love the opportunity to let you know how you and your mate are feeling on the verge of us meeting you out there on Tuesday morning. That's going to be amazing.
Exciting.
What's going on, boys and girls? Hey, how's your week been so far?
Awesome. Cold.
I've had the longest week. And it's Wednesday. I kept thinking yesterday was Wednesday and Monday was Tuesday. I don't know. I've been on catch up all week.
Like, when's Mojito Day?
A massive week, and we're only at Wednesday.
Because, of course, Tammy, this time last week, you and I just sat down to dinner with some amazing friends down in Sydney after being up on stage with the wonderful Jack Delosha and the team there at the Entourage for Unconvention. Up on the stage with, a whole lot of other sort of superstar entrepreneurs. But most importantly, we were up there with some other sort of, elite level members of the Entourage coaching program. So that was good. So we've had a bit of a disjointed week. I can only assume last week went pretty well with, Dane, Dan, and Jane.
I did hear the start of last week, actually, Dan. I watched the recording came up, and you were giving us a little bit of a jib there about turning up 50% of the time. And
that was just Dan too, might I point out.
Mate, it's going to be fucking 25% of the time at some stage.
Well, you know what? I'm glad that you only caught the beginning, because the back end, it started to get a little bit loose and wild, and we might have started to pimp Adam out a little bit at the back end of the session.
Oh, gosh.
It turned into like a little bit of a dating show from that perspective, but Adam put his hand up and he said, look, if I'm going to progress any further in my property portfolio, I need to increase my borrowing capacity, so I need a significant other in my life. And I'm like, mate, are we in the place for you? Let's go.
You've got like 25 people watching, and half of them may or may not be interested.
Including rebranded, I'm pretty sure.
Including you, Ben. Yes, that's right. I can imagine with Mum and Dad not there, and you two and the amazing Jane on board, it would have got a little bit loose at some stage, no doubt.
Jane.
Yes. Thank you, Ben. HR nightmare.
HR nightmare. Standard rims. No, Jane did an exceptional job last week. It was really nice having someone from her knowledge and experience and background across a massive remit of, I suppose, the property industry over the last decade or two. Sorry, Jane, I'm not trying to give away ages or anything like that. So that's why I'm like a decade or two. We'll see how that fits together. But yeah, she just brought a whole lot of knowledge, and there was a lot of people out there, a lot of people that lurk in the background, ladies and gents. And I spoke to a few of you already during the week. You know who you are, but they sat there in the background and they told me that they got a lot of value out of some of the questions they asked Jane and being able to get answers from the variety of walks of life as well. So if you're one of those people that's sitting in the background, maybe one of the 15 or so that hasn't actually commented yet tonight, make sure you jump on there, ask a question of us as well. Great. The dog has got an excellent question from the sort of the YouTube world. Is the relationship help offer open to all single
There's
clients?
no reason why.
Everyone, mate. Everyone. We're here to serve everybody.
Nightmares. I don't need client nightmares too.
By the way, Adam doesn't need to know we're still carrying on this conversation, though he's probably listening. Like, you know what? For those that like both sides of the fence, why limit yourself to 50% of the population? Crack on. Crack on. Hey, listen, let's go back quickly. Sophie, can you please bring up Huey Allen's comment because he just gave some feedback about what his experience was like here in the Axon office. Hospitality, nothing but the best. Tough gig working from down on the Goldie with a view from the top floor. Absolutely, mate. What did you and I say, Tam, when we first moved into the office 2 and a bit years ago? What do we need to do to fucking get this joint? And no, we're never leaving, pretty much.
Everyone wants that office, but we're locked in.
Kel and I had a great day seeing the sights of Axon HQ. HU guys got some of the Kel slice. Well, did you know Rocky Road is one of my favourite slices in the world? I'm positive. Let me make a very bold assumption here. I'm positive that the wonderful Miss Kel may or may not have had me in mind to have some of the slice when she was fucking making it. And guess how much slice I got? I didn't even know that it was fucking made. Everyone's like, how good was that Rocky Road that Kel bought? And I'm like, fucking what Rocky Road? Rummaging through everything. I know the fucking plastic bloody containers in the bin. 0 donuts. Zip fucking 0 zilch. I got none. Kel, I would love some, please. When you're making your next batch, just like Anne, your wife, used to do, Dan. I need some love, mate. I missed out on it all.
Well, we do have quite a few of us now, you know. I have seen you, Robbie, get stuck into the Tim Tams and the other bits and pieces around the office. And
that's because I fucking bought it. It doesn't get brought in from a client that probably had some for me in the love of her heart when she was making it.
Well, I tasted it for you. It had clinkers in it and everything. It was amazing.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
Dan gave it a good crack.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think the first piece that I had the mint clinkers. I didn't like it that much because I don't really like mint chocolate. So I had to get a second piece out and just see if the second one had a pink clinker or something like that in it.
So Huey, from us to you, mate, thank you so much for Kel. She's probably working tonight in the medical support sector, a little bit like Sammy Wynn. So yeah, mate, tell her it was amazing, apparently, and I'd love to try it again one day.
That's all good. How's Wilco, mate? Just letting you know that you've been smashing the Wheat Bix as well, and reminding you that you've managed to eat all of the Wheat Bix out of the entire office.
I fucking went and bought 8 boxes the other day, so never shall be fucking, never shall be without Wheat Bix again.
Everyone, he got pulled up on eating everyone's Wheat Bix, so he literally went to the store and bought 6 boxes to go.
Yeah, right. But there doesn't need to be tears in the fucking office because there's no Wheat Bix. I'll just go fucking buy the whole fucking shelf from bloody Woolies. Anyway, Soph, can you also bring up Sammy Wynn's comment? Because she was talking about how she's feeling about moving into her own.
It's now Noah RT. They had some ICT issues on the back channel, so it's now Noah.
Me and my mate, your other half, /husband,
I love how she calls him that.
Absolutely stoked to be moving into our own house on Tuesday. We never thought we were going to get to this point, and we're both convinced that without Axon's help, we'd still be sitting here. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. We should have our own house, mate. It's a very, very common thread, mate. That's without getting someone's professional help and guidance and coaching and mentoring and filling up your knowledge bucket, so you fill up your confidence bucket. It's a little wonder why why other people sort of stuff it up. And Hugh and Kel, as you're sort of sitting here, you were telling me downstairs that one of your friends is building with another big builder. Let's just say one of the top 3 builders of the company from a volume perspective. and it's been nothing but a fucking nightmare. Dodgy site supervisors, not the right paint color. You know, the pricing's bloody not exact. Doesn't have everything included. You guys are out there fucking moving bricks from the backyard because it wasn't a fixed price contract, and now they've got to do their own landscaping. What a shit experience of building a fucking, you know, and erecting a house, and none of the other stuff's done because no one actually checked the fixed price contract for you. So I'm sorry to hear that, but yeah, that sort of, Sammy, as you've seen on numerous occasions with your drive-bys, that shit ain't happening to you. Every single little thing is included, and that house is ready for you to turn the key. Well, I'll already be fucking in the door waiting for you. You turn the key and meet me, and then I'll be like, there's your house, all done. Move your shit in and crack on.
What a
They'll have the toll removalist there with a couch, mate, already ready to go. Move your shit in. Hurry up.
Just don't get Robbie to do your flat packs.
No, I don't do fucking flat packs.
What about you guys? Tell us about your little jaunt away, because it wasn't just Sydney where you guys obviously ended up. We've been out and about before then. So sort of give us a rundown what you guys sort of ticked off over the last week and a half or so.
Yeah, so we started off to Adelaide. We're down there. We met with a bunch of guys and girls as part of a spouse kind of event, family sort of knowledge and education event, talking about some ADF housing entitlements, but also we linked up with Selgeron, and so we did a co-branded event with them. So not only linking up with us about what entitlements they're entitled to, but also the support network that Selgeron offers. So they're doing a lot about the families of defence, so your spouse and your children. They're helping with careers. There's a lot of mental health stuff that they're working on. And yeah, we're doing some great things with them, which I'm happy to share after this with Selgeron. And then we headed off to Woodside onto the barracks, which was really exciting actually, because it's not very often people like us get invited onto barracks. And yeah, it was great to sort of chat with some of the serving members and some spouses.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Then we jetted across to Sydney. We did our little speaking event at the Unconvention, which was awesome. We were on a panel with a bunch of other business owners just talking about where we started, what we've done in front of a whole bunch of other people, in front of 400, I think, in the audience, another 800 online. So that was pretty daunting, but we did good. And then some business meetings, and then back, fly home, and I think we got one day in of work last week.
Few little boozy lunches and dinners thrown in there for good measure. Dan, you come and join us for the Adelaide leg. That was good, and it was bloody cold up in Hindorf, wasn't it? Oh,
mate, there was some concerns that there was going to be trees falling over on the old huts that we were staying in there as well. Not like cheap, shitty huts or anything like that, but the old sort of heritage listed from the time of when the crew actually came and settled up in Hindorf. So it's a good little memorial town. There's plenty of nice beers for people to be drunk up there as well. Yeah. So if you're ever in Adelaide, make sure you get out to the hills from that perspective as well.
It was actually quite funny. It was so windy out, and we're walking back from the cafe from breakfast, and there's a guy out there. There's wind blowing, and like leaves are going everywhere, and there's a guy out there with a blower vac, like a leaf blower there, blowing the leaves, and he was not doing a great job.
like mowing the lawn when it's pissing with rain. It was it was quite funny actually. The great
speaking of Selgeron, I just wanted to do a little plug that we are the major sponsor of the Selgeron VetM in Brisbane, so a Brisbane golf event for veterans with them. So we've got a couple of teams. We just hit the four of us just hit the driving range the other day to practice our swing. Let's just leave it there. We need a few more practice goes.
You'll be right.
But that's going to open up soon too. So it's open at the moment for corporate teams, but it's also going to open for tickets as well And I think there's the option for some veterans possibly as well to attend if they go through Soldier On as well. So if you want to come along, let us know. We can put you in touch with the right people.
Yeah, it's Monday the
14th of July. 12th of July.
Monday
12th of July, Royal Queensland Golf Course. So just up here in Brizzy, just not too far on the northern side of the Gateway Bridge there. So beautiful course. And if you want to have a nice day and support a great cause, make sure you come along to that one as well. We'd love to see you down there.
Yeah, as I said, they're doing some amazing work and we're really proud to support them.
Nicky Otto, Robbie could buy all the Wheat Bix in the swear jar money he owes tonight. He's on fire. Yes, I'm sorry, mate. It's every now and then I'll bloody start a little lawnmower and just away I go. Now, Dane, I want to include you, brother. Now, I'm very cognizant that you have an amazing 2-hour coaching session with one of our dental officer, I believe, after this young man. So we'll cut you away a little bit early, mate, so you can have at least a 5-minute break so you're not jawing and talking.
Yeah, call a break, mate, before I get
3 hours in a row. Yeah,
it's a bit of a weird one actually, Robbie, because it's a reverse referral.
Right. What do you mean by that? Tell us what a reverse. I know what a lot of reverse things are, but not a reverse referral.
Oh, mate, you were missed last week. No, so a reverse referral. So we had one client reach out to us. He goes, so and so has let us know to come and talk to you. I'm like, fuck, it's not ringing a bell, And I sort of jumped in the database. I'm like, name's not coming up anywhere. Anyway, so out of my mind, whatever. So this legend that he is has already gone through the process. He's got a property and happy days for him. Then I get this connection call, and I'm like, all right, that guy's name looks familiar. And I was saying to Dan, fuck, where have I heard that name before? And then so I reached out to him, mate. I'm like, can you tell me that name? He's like, yeah, it's that guy. So I got him on, and I couldn't help myself. Usually I'm like, hey, mate, how'd you come to it? I said, mate, I got to ask you, how have you referred us without actually talking to us yet? And he goes, oh, mate, I was just watching your online training and stuff and because I'm in dental, I see guys every day coming in and out. So I've been starting to say to people like, mate, not just your fillings, but get your finances in order as well. Go see these guys.
What a legend.
Yeah, I said, mate, that's awesome. So blessed to, so I'm coaching him tonight. It's going to be awesome. So I'm calling him the reverse referral because I don't know where he came from.
One of his mates that he referred has gone through the whole process, and then he reached out to us.
He reached out.
Yeah, that's like inverted.
I reckon we should do some posters for him. Get your fillings and your finance in order.
Fillings and finances. Yeah, but I couldn't help myself. I was just like, mate, tell me where your head was at with it. How'd that happen? He's like, just watching a lot of your trainings, to get my stuff sort of ready, and I've been telling a fair few people at work about it, and I was like, that's great, because he hasn't had like that in-depth point, which he's getting tonight, right? But he hasn't had that in-depth relationship yet with one of us where we sort of nailed down and get into the nitty-gritty of it all. But for him to go, hey, these guys look like they know their shit, get on to them and get chatting to them and see what you can do. So it was really, really good, man. It was heartwarming.
So amazing. I mean, Dan, as your role as the ops manager, I know you're all over the data and the stats and the numbers and the conversions about who comes in the door. Like, there's just been a huge uptake of, the majority of business and the majority of people that we've spoken to this year are either repeat clients, which the whole amount plus a few more, the whole amount of people that bought another property with us last year that bought a property with us in the previous couple of years, we've already reached that mark this year. So that's amazing. Obviously, the property market's being very, very kind to everybody. But there's so many people coming in from a sort of, referrals perspective. I'm very, very glad and very humbled and very honored that we're building this little community of people that actually want to talk about with their friends. And certainly Huey Allen and Keller was in yesterday. You guys are like just banging the axe on drum, walking down. Hear ye, hear ye. You need your fillings or your finances? Go speak to these guys. They didn't say that.
They got no rocky road. There's no rocky road there.
That's one way to fuck your fillings up. Bite on one of those clinkers the wrong way, and then it'll have your filling come out. But Dan, you're seeing that.
You don't have to worry about that, Robbie.
Oh, Dan, go for a dental checkup, mate.
That's a good one from CJ. I mentioned you guys to a mate the other day, and someone else in the group chimed in to say how you guys are currently inundating his social media at the moment. Like, sorry, not sorry. We once had a troll say, stop following me around the internet. And I'm like, You now have engaged, so it's actually going to trigger more.
The more you comment, the more we're going to follow you. Yeah,
Sorry.
Hey, Dan, quick question from you, from our great friend, the great man himself, the man, the myth, soon not to be the myth. There's certainly a legend already, Lukey Millwood. How did you know that I was going to ask that one up, Noah? A quick strategy question or strategic question. Is there anything tracking in the way of stimulus grants, support packages from the government on the continued path out of COVID?
In summary, no, man, there's nothing. That's the short answer of what's available at the moment. But I suppose, buddy, what we're experiencing is the long tail of home builder. So for those of you who weren't tracking, what they ended up doing originally, home builder had like a timeline of 6 months that you had to start your build after you actually kicked off your contract. But what they've recognized is they didn't want the property market to go off a cliff because like developers weren't ready and so on and so forth. So the long tail that I'm talking about, mate, is it's now like 18 months for you to start building your property after you've signed the contract. So
if you had already, you can't start that now.
Yeah, you can't start that clock now. That was like back in March, that sort of finished from that perspective from a timeline. But effectively what we're seeing now is we're just going to see the trickle-on effect of those builds all starting inside the construction industry. And to be perfectly honest, man, there's no requirement for more incentives to go out there and buy properties at the moment. Like, it's already really, really wild out there. And in some instances, even if you signed a contract today, right, using their 18-month timeline after that, like some developers are already selling land for out in February 2023.
Wow.
That's like 20 months away. So you wouldn't even fit the 18-month timeline that they're talking about to start your build project because the land is so far out from that perspective. There's just been a huge uptake on the desire to buy blocks of land, to build houses, to keep the construction industry humming along from that perspective. And
it's coming.
it's moving. It's moving very nicely. And I mean, I'm almost starting to be concerned that the economy is going so well that we might start to head in the opposite direction. And this is just musing over the next couple of years ahead that maybe the government will step in or the RBA will step in and we'll start looking at measures that try to slow things down. And that's like interest rates, everything like that. When the economy gets too out of control, it needs to be reined in at some point in time.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a natural point of the cycle. You know, certainly. You know, Corinne Fox has just joined us now. Hey, buddy. So great to speak to you and Rob again recently. I know you guys are really deep diving into getting your next property with us under your belt real soon, with that land release coming up on the weekend. So good luck with that. If not, we'll just put you back. Not back in the poll, but we'll put you back into the original strategy, and you're not gonna miss out. But the property markets don't always just go straight up like that. They've got their little peaks and troughs. They've got their little wave patterns there. But at the end of the day, ladies and gents, if you have the right strategy and you put the right financial structure in place, the name of the game here is to buy what? Not houses, time. Buy time to have those properties in the market to ride out these little waves. And you know what? Whilst we don't want something like COVID to ever hit us again, you know, certainly that put us, you know, if you sort of have a look at the little fault lines as far as the property growth goes, that certainly put a little bit of a dent in things, and away it's gone again since then. And the separate little markets around the country, because remember, there's not one Australian property market. Yeah. There's little tiny micro markets, you know, operating independently and everywhere around the different places there. Everyone will go through their little cycles in sort of different areas, but as long as you're bought in the right areas and you hold on for a long time, you know, the line of best fit as far as that goes is up. Mm-hmm. So I do think and not to discredit what you said, Dan, and maybe this is just the stimulus for Luke's question there. I have heard some whispers, and I can't remember where I read it, heard it, podcast, because my fucking head is just in the property market all day, every day, literally, that the New South Wales is going to reintroduce some more stamp duty concessions for homeowners.
Okay.
So yeah, that's not been officially announced yet. You heard it first here at Axon, ladies and gentlemen. Shall it come your way? But yeah, that's you know, another bit of a demonstration that we do have our eyes and ears well and truly you know, looking out the front to make sure we can capitalise on these things. What about you, Dane? Yeah, go for it, buddy. Please.
I was going to say, with those rumours too, Robbie. You know, I love the government. It's great, isn't it? To say no, we're going to scrap stamp duty, but we're going to cycle it into land tax. So to delay it, so it'll allow you to get in, but we're still going to get out. So whether that comes to fruition, it's like, I'm not going to get you there, but I'm going to get you back here.
Well, they'll always get their money somewhere.
Yeah.
So but you do, like, it's always, like Robbie said, peaks and troughs. If you look over the last, we had that graph that I fell in love with, Dan. What was it, from 1900 or whatever it was, where you have little sparks where the market shoots off and then you have a plateau. Shoots off, plateau, shoots off, plateaus. And like, yeah, it would probably, realistically, after the post-COVID, like things have gone quite exuberantly, that a plateau would probably be, it would be fine, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love how you tweak out over graphs and
Well, here's fun times for you. So Anne and I were walking the kids to daycare this morning, and the conversation we actually had was about the housing market. We're like, how good is this scheme that the government's got, right? They want people to be really active in like the Great Australian Dream, or highly interested in property investing as a way to create wealth in their life. Because every time someone buys or sells a property, the government just goes, I'll have another $1,000, thank you. Put that in the old skyrocket. Every time you actually go and pay land tax, I'll chuck that in my skyrocket, please. Like, when you start thinking about it, like, this is a bloody brilliant money spinner. Oh, you made a profit on your property. No worries. Can you pay me some capital gains tax, please, sir? And straight in the old skyrocket again. Like, there's not going to be a point in time, in my opinion, where the government turns around and says, you know what, I'm going to let this sucker go, because it just earns way too much money for them. And it's every level of government. Your state government, your federal government, everyone wants it. Your local governments also want the most amount of blocks of land there, because then they can charge you the most from a rates perspective. Like, this shit is just going to keep on going. It's a way of making money at all levels, and that's sort of how the economy drives on.
It's a good marketing
to have the amazing sort of standard of living that we have as well, though, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you take it from there, where are we going to replace it from? That's why, you know, Dan has his little budget parties. When are they, mate? Once every 6 months or whatever you do, where you watch the budget and God knows what you do.
Are you talking about the annual budget?
Annual budget, is it? Yes, the annual budget. So,
hey, before we go too much further, Noah, can you please bring up that little slide I've got there? This is a little slide that we've got. Here we go. Look at this, Sophie. We're going fucking next level here. So, you know, ladies and gents, a lot of you may not have seen this sort of slide before, as I just hide the shit behind it there. You don't need to see that. There you go. You know, this is all about the property cycles and the peaks and troughs. At the end of the day, ladies and gents, when supply equals demand, the market is flat. Then there'll be a whole lot of stuff that happens. Development, infrastructure, jobs, growth, jobs and growth. No worries, ScoMo, we got you. I know you're listening in, you know, again. But that's all about the 7 ingredients to a healthy property market. So there'll be that upward pressure on the sort of the market there. The market will get to the top, and then it'll come off a little bit, whereby supply outstrips demand. Now, that's not a boom. That's not a bust. That's not the fucking property market, you know, falling in on top of the bloody universe there. That's what's called a correction. So if you buy at the right time, and then sort of ride that wave up a little bit, and even if it comes down, who cares? Because at the end of the day, there's going to be lots of these little micro corrections that go with your whole property journey. Because at the end of the day, like I said, good property investors don't just buy property; they buy time. You know, forget short-term predictions and focus on those long-term growths. That's where you got to get the most outcome.
Yeah, mate. How's the crew? Like, not to diminish the valuable content you just gave out, then, but everyone's worried about. Hang on a minute. Don't read what tabs Robbie has open on his internet there. It might not be PG. We just need to make sure that they're...
Nah, it's fine. Actually, that's very tame. I hadn't even checked that.
Well, they're like, put it on full screen RT, and then Benny has written, requires further training. That's a jib to you.
Thanks, mate. But absolutely, you know, you got to have that long-term viewpoint there, because... You know, if you're trying to time the market, you know, like Tam, you and I spoke about this a few weeks ago. Some of our really good friends here in the Gold Coast are trying to buy their own home, and they just want to, we'll just keep renting for another 6 months because we're just waiting for the market to cool down a little bit. It's just fucking, it's a fool's game. It ain't gonna happen. I know you got my back, Benny. I know it's one of those things. Good friends stab you in the front, brother, and I'm happy to do that. No dramas. Dane, what else is going on in your world, mate? I do want to push you off soon so you can have a bit of a break. I know, Dan, you and I know all too well, doing a 2-hour coaching session whilst it's all, you know, a bit of piss and wind here whilst we're online does take a lot out of us because we give so much to our clients. What's sort of, you know, been some of the high points of your week so far, mate, please?
Mate, so pretty much coming off the back of when you were talking about time, like Dan says, it's not about timing the market, it's timing the market, so on and so forth. So I spoke to a girl, I know she's listening. Ella, if you're out there, I said to put your name in the chat this time because she's one of the lurkers, Dan, as we always talk about.
Mate,
I love my lurkers because I know you're there and I know you've got questions. You're just a little bit shy today.
Now I know their name. I got their name as well. So
go for it, Dan.
She's 20 years old. 20. 20, and she goes, she saved herself $55,000. And I'm like,
wow,
it's so commendable because in the end, you, through just the power of time, you don't really have to do too much, to be honest. Like, you can just sit and just let the market do its thing, and you're going to come out a win. I can guarantee you that. But the thing is, when she was there, she goes, I just wish I'd saved a bit faster, a bit quicker. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you should be high-fiving yourself. I said, I'm 20. I said, I guarantee you right now, you go back to work, walk around, go to the mess, talk to every 20-year-old, ask to see their bank statement. I guarantee there won't be 55 grand there. It is a testament for someone at that age group just to be going like, this is what I want. I want to get it now, and I'm going to do it. So, mate, it's one of the other highs I had. That and the reverse referral were 2 bits over the last 7 days where I was just like, fuck. Really
I absolutely get a kick out of when it's like young clients like that. I just think, oh my God, imagine if, we were doing that at 20. Like, it's just crazy to me. I love it. I absolutely love hearing about people that are that young and they've got their head in the game. They're already thinking smart. Like, my money went into drinking and partying and alcohol, dance floors, and not investing.
And that's what you mean. And that's what you, I guess, almost expect. Like, when you first meet them, you're like, oh, yeah. And I was like, it's pretty young, see how we go. But then, when she was so on board with everything, she was so attentive. She was just like, I just want to learn. I want you to teach me as much stuff as you can.
So
I'm like, don't worry, I've got no shortage of advice. I'll fucking give it out, not just about properties as well, about anything. Even if I'm not an SME, I'll still give it to you. But, it just warmed my heart, Robbie. Warmed my heart.
Yeah, good. Good, mate. Isn't it? It's a real shot in the arm as far as, first of all, a young lady who's got the wherewithal and the confidence and based with the humility as well to reach out to, a bunch of predominantly blokes to go, hey, can you guys help me out? I want to have that conversation, and let's build that relationship, build that rapport, know, like, trust, then do business with somebody. It's the same in life. So hats off to her, mate. Like, it's a bit easier for a couple of bloody buffhead 21-year-old blokes to reach out to us, but for a young lady to do it, and I know, Tamara, this is huge on your radar. You love that whole female empowerment, and just to know that those, there's many, many young ladies doing a great job for themselves as well is, awesome to hear.
Yeah, taking the courage. It's just the courage and the the wherewithal to get the mentorship, to find coaching, to find the knowledge, search for it, to just educate yourself as much as you can. I'm exactly like Luke was, negative 10K on credit cards. Because these legends are dominating because he didn't have a wealth mentor, and it's so true. Like, that's what it comes down to. You're a product of what you learn and what you know. Like the things that my dad taught me. Like, I love my dad to death, but he, the whole thing was put a deposit on a house and pay it off for 30 years. Like, just get your foot in the door. And I bought in the wrong location. I bought the wrong property. I bought an old property. But that was because that was the only mentor and guidance and coaching that I was getting about property. There was no one like Axon for me back then.
Yeah.
There was a you'll love this one, Tam, too. So I did my first session with her. And it was all good, and it was very theory heavy. Like, I was just talking about all different types of finance structures and so on and so forth. And the next time we're there, she sits down and she turns to the side. I'm like, I don't know if anyone's there. I'm like, oh, who's that over there? And she's like, oh, it's Jake. Anyway, so this guy comes in. I'm like, Jake, why don't you sit down? How old are you, mate? And then, you can do a bit of coaching as well. And then she turns and she goes, oh, he's not, like, it's my 55 grand. I'm not fucking, he's not getting in on this. And I was just like, yeah, no, hats off to you. Exactly. Hands off, mate. Hands
above the table.
Yeah. You can watch, but you're not getting in on it. Yeah, so good on her.
So what about
February seat?
What about young Jake? Is he gonna book a buddy?
Yeah, mate. Been on the Yeah, been on the dial with him as well. He's gone, oh, mate, I don't want to talk to you about my spending habits. You're going to roast me. I'm like,
yes, I am. That's what you said. You're like, I absolutely will.
Only for a little bit at the start, mate. That only lasts for 5 minutes, then it'll be over. I'm sure
it only hurts the first time, right, mate?
$20 is $20. Dan, what about you? What's some of your sort of highlights for the week so far?
Mate, I've pretty much just been speaking to referrals, to be perfectly honest, people that have been referred to us from other people. So they're very, very different conversations to people who come in that, like, there's a lot of people out there that might come across us and have just been watching us for a couple of weeks or something like that and go, oh yeah, I think you've sort of got some idea of what you want to talk about, and they come and they say, I want to put a plan together and all this sort of stuff. But when you're speaking to someone who has either been following along with us for like 2 years, because there is people out there that do this, or somebody that has been referred to, like someone who said, hey, these guys are awesome, go and speak to those guys. The conversations are very different from that perspective, because you just turn up and it's just like having a chat with the bloke that you've drunk 10 beers with down the pub the night before. And you've turned up and you're like, all right, that was last night. Let's now put our work hats on and actually like talk about what needs to happen with you. There's a high level of familiarity there. And quite often they're just very open and understanding of the fact that they're not professionals in this game. And that's why they're here to talk to us from that perspective. So yeah, great conversations. Some people in the office, some people international. Pretty much I'm covering off on the embassies throughout Southeast Asia at the moment, making sure I've got clients in all those key locations in the DA world. So, yeah, very, very, very good. I think so. I've got Bulldog there. I've got another couple of guys in PNG. Got another few people in Sri Lanka now. So it's been good having those conversations with some of those respectively higher ranking individuals as well, to be able to take them through the process, because it doesn't matter what your rank is, right? I've spoken to people with relatively senior ranks, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're better at spending. Doesn't necessarily mean that, despite what the military's told them, like when you get like your crown on your chest, you don't actually become a genius at everything. You might have the military telling you that you're like no shit now when you're above most people. But when you come back to the real world, in quite often terms, you've been taught a lot of things that aren't actually accurate, and you need to unfuck things, to use the technical term, unfucking things.
Yeah, that's for those that are uninitiated. That's a technical term for fix. All right.
Add that to the glossary, Sophie.
We certainly have, Dan, over the years, coached numerous elderly people that have been on high wages for a very long time. And you said they're not very good at spending, but they're not very good at saving. They're very good at spending. That's why they don't have fucking good money habits. So, but I guess the good news is for those people, if this may or may not be you, ladies and gents, whether you're listening to this live or down the track, because you're earning a shit ton of money, because you are of a higher rank and you've been in the military for X amount of years, you can make up time quite quickly when you arrest those money habits. So you do have an operation. You can borrow a shit ton of money. So first of all, you can clear out debt quite quickly. You can be put on a bit of an extended time frame. So therefore, we can synchronize what the strategy looks like to be able to take a property off the market sooner rather than later, be fully protected by a finance clause, keep saving in the meantime, and then sort of, get your DVA claims coming, whatever it's going to be, very, very frequent these days, which is fantastic. Even though DVA got a very, very poor reputation amongst the defence community, I reckon if we've coached 50 clients over the last 12 months that are extremely thankful, amen, AD Evans said, extremely thankful, not that I'm referring to DVA for you, but, your case in point here, a gentleman of that ilk and those money habits there, you can get going bloody really, really quickly, and you can actually accelerate what your retirement's going to look like easily. I had something else I was going to ask you, Dan, but I can't. Oh, exciting day.
Could go anywhere. Where are we going?
No. Exciting day tomorrow. We're driving to one of our key locations here in Southeast Queensland. Yep. And we're going to solidify the relationship with a relatively new builder. Now, this builder, the whole skin in the game principle. If someone at Axon or our close relatives, family, friends has used, a particular service provider and they've had a great, experience, obviously our job is to then go and do our full due diligence and then give, you guys access to it as well.
And we're very fussy. We're very fussy.
Extremely fussy. So this awesome builder is based here in Southeast Queensland, but they also build houses down in sort of Central Coast Newcastle region. And they built an amazing house, and Victoria, thank you, Dan. They built an amazing house for my brother-in-law. And he could not stop raving about how great the experience was, how awesome communicators there were, the fixtures and fittings of the house, the professionalism, the walkthrough, everything. This is just an investment property. So we've been talking to these guys for the last, basically since bloody February.
When we went I was going to say 3 months worth. Like 3 months of us working full time, doing our own due diligence to make sure these guys are a fit for us.
Yes, that's right. So I'm certainly. I don't know. Dan, you've got a lot to be proud about here, mate. You've really taken the lead on this as the ops manager, and basically you're now just going to, introduce me to the CEO of this other firm, and we'll do the dance for a little bit. And I'm really looking forward to seeing, what that brings. But here's the thing, ladies and gents, is that because getting access to land is so hard these days, we're literally, the three of us especially, Tam, you excluded, if you don't mind, the three of us especially are leaning on all of our long-term, professional, high-level relationships that have got, these other relationships with the developers. As the golden rule goes, ladies and gents, he with the gold makes the rules. And the landowners of the developers right now, they make the fucking rules because they're the ones that are handing out the blocks to the builders that they only trust that are going to do the best jobs. So this builder is a display home builder in 2 master plan communities in the one location, which I'm really, really hoping is going to give us a bit of an insight into some access to some blocks that we don't have right now, which, of course, ladies and gents, that's going to benefit all of you listening right now. So that's what we got on tomorrow anyway. So I'm really looking forward to that, mate.
Yeah.
Dan, you work yourself. I know you've been working hard on this over the last few months.
Yeah, mate. It'll be good. Make sure you pack your golf clubs, though, because obviously we need to try to get 9 holes in if we possibly can at some point.
9 holes?
I'm not bringing my golf clubs.
Yeah, mate.
You've got a very full dance card tomorrow.
We do have a very full – no, it'll be good because not only
back to the Gold Coast.
Not only –
We're staying in Brisbane tomorrow night. We do have an exclusive dinner to go to tomorrow night. So, Tammy,
do not bother calling us tomorrow night, I suppose. Is the quick summary there. Like, if any of you thought you had coaching sessions on tomorrow night, you now don't.
Yes.
Be cautious what you call tomorrow night too, because I said to Jess, I'm like, oh, Robbie and Dan and I are going for a gentleman's night. She's like, gentleman's night? What, a strip club? You're not fucking. And I was like, no, that's not what I meant. I'm just saying we're just going to this wine thing. And she's like, oh,
if anyone's
you got to learn your terminology's better. I was like, Jesus.
If anyone's heard of one of the very premium red wine Shiraz makers in the Barossa Valley called Henschke, they have a very famous Shiraz called Hill of Grace. They've got the 2016 Hill of Grace release dinner tomorrow night at Customs House. And the three of us buffheads, not including you again, Tam, of course, the three of us buffheads are going to go and have dinner with one of our other strategic partners. He's the founder and owner of one of the big building firms we use. And I'm going to smooze the fuck out of him because we need more land because we've got more clients and I want better shit put in the houses. It's amazing how much business gets done over a few glasses of red. Yeah. So that'll be good. And of course, the great man Dane, you're going to be driving. You're driving me there, and driving me to dinner, and then driving me home.
Are you the driver?
He's a DB.
How did you get stuck with that?
Instantly regretted it.
He volunteered.
And I was like, "Look, what have I done? What have I done? I got to
don't fuck it up. I'm relying on you." That's right. So it's going to be
all good. But for those, or for a lot of those clients, when we head out there tomorrow, obviously we'll be out and about in your properties, making sure we keep an eye on everything that's going out. We've got that regular flow of either us getting out and about, either together or collectively. And also, obviously, we've got the property specialists getting out and about. The build support team are always out and about on site as well. But speaking about out on site, one of my favourite things this week was actually a property handover for a couple of owner-occupiers on Monday morning that I went to. Jano, I know that you were absolutely devastated that you couldn't turn up to this handover because you've had such a long relationship with these clients as well, building a very, very, very nice property there in a very pristine area that now in that location though, and this is why I love this property so much, there is no more supply.
Zero.
There is zero supply apart from the blocks of land that are about $900,000 compared to these guys who just spent about $300,000 on their block. So it's an extremely premium area that these guys have managed to get into over the last 12 months and snuck in right at the beginning of the home builder grant as well. So they've had another $25,000 hit their skyrocket when they hit the right metric set. So yeah, it was wonderful to go and walk through their house for the very first time with them. I took a whole lot of photos because to be honest, owner occupiers go in there with their vision. They've got their Pinterest board and they're like, I like this color and I like this and I want to have this tap feature and I want to do. Yeah, Tammy, you know all about it at the moment.
We just did it today, mate.
These guys did exactly that. They're like, this is what I want it to look like. It's not my forever home, but it is something that I'm going to live in for the next 5 years. Therefore, I want it to look nice, right? You should have seen the size of the walk-in pantry on this thing, mate. Like, I tell you what, you could have locked half a football team inside this walk-in pantry. It is massive for the snacks.
Nice.
But yeah, these guys, I just took a whole bunch of photos because I was like, that looks amazing, that looks amazing, that looks amazing, that looks amazing. And just some of the styling that put through this house without over-capitalizing on too much stuff. Don't get me wrong, there's some 1%ers that are a little bit premium in the property, but just the way that they've done that is just absolutely amazing.
Mate, I'm fucking bringing them up right now. I'm about to rip through it. I'm just doing it. You keep talking for the next 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, let's bring up Jay Bales. Let's talk about Jay Bales' question there. I'll throw that across to you first, Dane. Do you guys deal in acreage as well?
Short answer, no, man. So depends. If you turn to me and you say, look, I know this isn't going to be a wealth creation activity and it's not going to be something that I'm relying on you guys to be able to say this acreage lot will springboard me into building a wealth asset portfolio, then we consider it. Because in the end, mate, if we do have a fucking tenant doesn't want to sit on a ride-on lawnmower all weekend. I didn't sit on a lawnmower, for a space about that big, and I had to sell my house and move from there, So I just think when we're thinking about that, we need to make sure that the properties that we're actually investing in are the properties that the market want, and they're the most appropriate for the market. And I just don't think having a big acreage lot out the west of fucking Wook Wook is that.
Yeah, you'd be buying for a lifestyle decision, not for investment or wealth creation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So go for it, Dan, before I jump in.
I was going to say, like, I've got friends, like my family are sitting on, like they've got a 2-acre block of land that my sister lives at. My brother-in-law's got like a 6-bay shed that's like 4 car lengths deep. Like I get it. I understand the appeal of acreage living from that perspective. But in most instances, it's certainly not providing you the greatest bang for buck. If you're thinking about, I want to buy an acreage for you to live on, that's a very different conversation that we have compared to if you're buying an acreage for you to be able to get a return on investment from, because the amount that you have to spend on an acreage won't necessarily come back and put beer tickets in your skyrocket when it comes to getting a rental return if you're going to be able to do that as well. So don't dislike acreage. Actually really like acreage, of space, all that sort of stuff. You can build, like I've got clients that are on a 1/4 acre block, 12, actually it's a bit bigger than that. It's about a 1,600 square meter block. They're building their forever home. Big 270 square meter house. They've got the shed out the back, everything like that. We helped them find it. We helped them build it. They're still in the process. Like I love it, but it needs to fit into your right place in your portfolio. Because at the end of the day, if you've got every single one of your dollary dues tied up in that acreage, buddy, you don't have a capital growth plan. You've just got a plan to pay off your home over the next 30 years and have nothing really in the back pocket to cash flow the rest of your life.
Yeah, and that's fine for some people.
Yeah, it's cool
as long as you acknowledge that. Which is completely fine. Yeah,
there's no right and wrong answer. It's just like, hey, as long as you know what the outcome that you're going to get is, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, Luke Millwood, great advice. Get after it once you've got a portfolio. Yeah. So Noah, can you bring up that image for me, please? And this, ladies and gents, is what Dan was referring to.
Oh, you seen the pro photos? Look at this,
mate. I'm into it.
Look at this big story.
Referring to. There's the beautiful colours in the bathroom. Please let us know in the chat whether you like this style of house. All that sort of stuff that Dan spoke about. They literally they went and handpicked everything.
Like if you go back to that one slide just above there, RT, like this is the level of detail. If you have a look at the built-in shower niche, like if you go and do this, like, and just be an everyday punter, they'll be like, yeah, I'm going to give you shower niches. They'll be 600 wide. They won't be the full length of the shower.
You can lay in that one. You can lay in it.
Exactly, mate. It's the fifth bedroom. There's the pantry to fit the football team in.
Around the corner there. Yep.
It's another floors.
Very nice indeed.
So all the 1%ers that they've gone through there, big black back features, everything like that. Huge al fresco, huge ceilings. So gone slightly higher on the ceilings to make it massive. Love the kitchen. Thanks, Sean Thomas. Look at that. Just a really well put together property there. They've gone above and beyond from that perspective. So,
but here's the thing. Dan, tell us a little bit about this client's circumstances, just to paint the picture and bring it to life. I heard you say something before. This is not their forever home.
No.
So, like, from a strategy perspective, just sort of bring it, make it a little bit real and a bit more attainable.
Yeah, absolutely. So in this particular instance, he is a junior NCO in the Army. She, at the time, was studying full-time and also working a full-time role as well. So working their asses off, to be honest, to get their way towards their first investment property and start building their portfolio. So they've been working very, very hard, being very diligent about things. And yeah, at the end of the day, he was heading towards a discharge out of the Defence Force, whether it be in the short term or the long term. So the strategy was the right fit for those guys to go ahead, grab your HPAS, grab your DOHAS, grab your first homeowners grant, grab your home builder grant as it was, sneak $50,000 worth of grants into your back pocket there, which is not too bad from that perspective.
Well done.
Yeah.
And they're just very diligent in selecting of their locations. They knew that they needed to nail the location, and we probably spoke to them about 5 different locations from that perspective as well.
Yep.
We went around the boy from that perspective. So they knew what they wanted to be able to balance the life that they're going to lead for the next 5 or 6 years with also having a great investment property from that perspective. So, sometimes we were sort of sitting on both sides of the fence in that perspective, where the heartstrings were like pulling in one direction, but the logic and reasoning was sort of driving us in the other direction, which is very, very common for people who are building their own home, whether it be for something they're going to live in for the next 5 years or where they're going to live in for the rest of their life as well.
I've got something else I want to show you.
I hit you with that one.
Noah, please bring this up. This is going to really bring it to life, ladies and gents. That's where it's located. It's right near the fucking water on the marina. Yeah. So what you guys just saw as far as our house goes, have a look at how beautiful that is inside a beautiful, amazing master plan community.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal place that these guys managed to get their hands on there. And I mean, I think they were a touch under $650,000 to be able to put that house together. And now when they're last doing the clickbait, which is generally about $50,000 to $60,000 below what you actually pay for your house, they were talking about the house and land starting from about $700,000 in there. So they're about to move in. They're probably 50 to 70 or 80 grand worth of equity in there.
My mate has moved up there to that location. He's a doctor down here on the Gold Coast and couldn't get a rental because I was like, mate, you got to go there. I said, it's a fucking premium spot. He goes, I'd love to, man, but can't get a fucking rental there. But that's another great. I was like, man, I know I'm nodding my head at you, and it's not because I think it's funny. It's just have a really good feeling about a couple of other things. Yeah.
So what I reckon, RT, we've probably got about 3 or 4 more clients that have got properties in there that are just about to start their build process now. So
Correct.
Watch this space. Land supply is absolutely zero. Demand is still through the roof, as Dane just alluded to. Like, doctors are dying to get in, not dying. They're like working their asses off to try to get into that particular estate because it's so highly sought after. It's a very little niche enclave from that perspective. And mate, the demand is going to continue to exist there, and it's just going to keep on forcing those prices up.
Awesome. Dane, go and do a wonderful job, mate. Fillings and finance.
See you later. Have a good one.
See you, brother. See you, mate. Thank you so much. Thank you,
mate. What about you, RT? Who have you been speaking to? What have you been doing?
Mate, I'll tell you what I have been doing is I've been preparing one of our other strategic partners, the amazing, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jace Cosgrove, to come and join us next week. Next week here on Wednesday, ladies and gents. Tammy, you going to talk about that this week?
Yes, because my amazing marketing team alongside Jace. So Jace is financial planner and accountant extraordinaire. He's amazing. He does all of our tax, all of our business tax, all of our, he does a bunch of our clients. He helps with so much he's so knowledgeable when it comes to, tax returns as well as planning. And we have just developed some amazing tax planning checklists. So tax return checklists for, first of all, for your individual tax return. So what you can claim, like a list of all the things to remember to claim for and to get your receipts for and that kind of thing. We're doing one for investment properties. So all of the things you can and can't claim for your investment properties. And then we're also doing an ADF specific one for you. So the specific things that as an ADF member, you might be able to claim for your tax return. So everyone that joins us next week, same time, same place, we will be live here with Jace Cosgrove, and I'll be sharing the link so you guys can download all those and check them all off. And also an opportunity if you do want to connect with Jace as well. He can help with your tax return, but also for your next financial year planning, so that next year you're getting the most out of it. Because obviously, you know, we're at the end of the financial year now, so if you haven't put things in place now, you probably have missed out on things, but you've got the chance now to get everything in order, set things up now so that next year you're good to go.
Yeah. You know, when you've got a portfolio, Dan, you know, and your wife Anne, and certainly Tammy and I, the size of ours, not that it needs to be huge, but when it's got some buoyancy about it, tax planning becomes so critical, doesn't it? Because you got I know the whole thing. You're paying tax, you're making money. Got it. No worries. Fucking Einstein. But if you can put some measures in place to not pay as much tax, or, you know, offset some of it throughout the year so it's not a big bloody whack come the end of the year, for instance, then certainly, you know, just having that clarity, you know, it just comes down to what you and I do with the clients every day: strategy, clarity, planning. To create wealth, strategy, clarity, planning, pay less tax, which creates more wealth. So it's a bit of a no-brainer as far as that goes.
We've been helping our clients do PAYG variations and things to get cash in the bank as well. So you don't have to wait till then too.
Yeah, 100%.
I just think it's an absolute no-brainer. Like, guess what? Jace is an accountant and financial planner. You get access to him for free for an hour. Write your questions down now. Send them in early. And we will just be like, question. So if you do have questions you want to have answered next week live, reach out to Robbie, Dane, myself, Tamara, Noah, info@axonproperty.com.au. Like, shoot your questions in there, and we're just going to rack and stack those bad boys, ready to go for when Jace turns up here. Be on standby for like an hour of absolutely going hard, answering all of your questions, because that's what we're planning to do.
Yeah. This was one of our, and we've done it for the last 2 years, but these are one of our most popular and like fastest going Q&As that we run, because the information that he has in that brain of his is unreal. And you know what, if there is a question that he doesn't know, he always he'll follow it up. He'll jump on the next week and be like, "Oh, I've got the answer to that." So
he even did it to you overnight. Like, you and I were talking about some stuff, and then he rang you today going, "Hey, I just want to clarify something we spoke about yesterday." I'm like, "Fuck, that was quick."
That meeting was at 3 or something yesterday, and he already called me at 9 o'clock this morning. And I'm like, okay, I wasn't expecting it straight away, but okay.
So good. Benny Hinton, you are fast tracking your way to bloody wear an Axon shirt one day, mate, if you keep this up. Because if you haven't already heard Jace's episode on the podcast, ladies and gents, as the great man has suggested here, that guy, watch it, listen to it before next week. By the way, you can watch all of our podcast episodes on our YouTube channel now as well. If you're like me and you like to see the body language and see me, like the way I draw off on these sessions here, it's a little bit more calm and measured and not so fucking crazy when we're doing the podcast, because I don't have to hold a live audience. But certainly if you want to watch us do it as opposed to just listen to it, then you can jump on the Yankee Tango and do it that way as well.
Love Wendy's comment there. Love the last podcast. I had no idea that an insurance broker existed. Hubs and I are still in the saving stage. Can't wait for the next step and future coaching sessions. So not sure where you're at, but if you haven't had a coaching session, as I was saying before, there's really long time frames at the moment for land and things. So you can get started sooner rather than later and get those coaching sessions happening so that you've got a plan in place. But that's awesome that you've learned something as well, that insurance brokers definitely exist.
Absolutely.
Right. Hey, Tammy, just quickly, Dan's got to go. Is that what you just did, buddy?
Yep, I got to tap out. I've got people waiting for me, so I don't know what you guys have got on for the rest of the night.
So,
but
Jay Bales, just quickly, have you got any info packs or website? Yes, mate. Come along next week. We're going to give you some awesome little free checklists. See you then.
Yep.
Thanks, Tammy.
Shameless
Thanks,
plug.
Noah. Thanks, Dan.
Get there.
Bye.
Thanks, Sophie. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Next week.